So, let's talk about Halo Infinite. So, Halo Infinite, from what I've read, starts at the end of Halo Wars 2, which is weird. Atriox, who's the main bad guy of that, throws Master Chief into the abyss, and, he gets lost into space. But there's another soldier that's kind of stranded in space because the Marines are losing the war, and he's Echo 216. He spots Master Chief floating through space, grabs him, brings him into the ship, and kind of revives him. I think with the battery from the ship. Does a pretty bad job of explaining what we're supposed to know, what's going on, but that's how it starts. And all of a sudden, you get revived and you go to this broken Halo that's kind of shattered to pieces. But something special about the Halo. It doesn't really say what, but there's something different about this Halo than the other Halos that you've been on. Then you just dropped into this open world. This open world is pretty vacant, comparing to Red Dead and Uncharted and, all these big open world games, even Assassin's Creed. This game just seems kind of empty. The graphics are okay, not worth the delay that happened, but it was alright. This game it has bases that are all around the open world, and that's where the aliens are, but they kind of all look the same and have the same objectives. Just take it over and help the Marines that have been dismantled get back together and fight this war. It's very sporadic. Like, it doesn't really tell you what's going on. Also, the game's just a big collectathon. There's these propaganda towers, audio logs, and power cores. The power cores are cool at the beginning because you're upgrading your suit and different equipment. But honestly, there's so many power cores out there that you're gonna upgrade all your equipment halfway through the game, and that was a big bummer to me. I think there's only 4 different equipment things you can have, and you upgrade them to the max right away. And I just couldn't understand that. I was like, why is there so many power cores, but I only need 60? I mean, there's like 200. So pretty much it's just you're collecting to collect. It's just that's the game. The audio logs are pretty cool because you can learn some backstory. There's one for the Banish, and there's one for the Marines, and you kind of figure out what had happened in certain parts of the map and why they are the way they are. But as far as like a storyline and cutscenes, nothing like that. Just listen to these audio logs and try to piece things together. You get a Cortana type knockoff. The weapon is her name, I guess. Doesn't really explain, what the difference is. Just that, Cortana had done something bad, and this is your new Cortana. And I guess she's a lot nicer, but she was a good point of the game, but I was really trying to understand what had happened to Cortana. I didn't play 4, so maybe I'm missing something, but apparently she had done something bad, and now you get a new Cortana. But the game doesn't give you any backstory on why. All you really get are these like echoes, they call it, the memories of Cortana, where she's talking to you. And these memories are vague, very vague, just little snippets like, oh, I knew I could help you, or I knew you'd come for me. And it makes you think like, oh, is Cortana going to come back, or what's going on? It doesn't do a very good job of explaining that either. There's 2 main bad guys in the game. Escharum, who is the master of Atriox, who is the bad guy of Halo Wars 2 apparently, that threw you off into the abyss. And he's supposed to be a bigger and badder Atriox, but from what I've seen, like, he looks sick. He keeps coughing, but it doesn't really explain. Is he sick? Is he dying? Does he have much time left? That's another thing Halo Infinite did not explain. And it kind of gets away from it at the end. It doesn't even go into if he's sick or not. It just, who knows? Is this, he's the last of his kind, or the Banished are, because Cortana had destroyed his world, blew it up. And of course, that's why they're trying to fight the Marines. Cortana, who was made by humanity, destroyed his planet and his people, so it totally makes sense why he hates us. But the Harbinger, she's a different type of alien, and she seems to have an understanding of what's going on with this new special ring that we're on, and she's trying to bring it back to life and rebuild it. Throughout the game, you see little segments of it rebuilding the ring through the different stations that are around the map. But you don't fight either. You don't fight Escharum. You don't fight the Harbinger. Pretty much the entire game, you're just fighting random other smaller bad guys. There are a couple of boss battles, but nothing too crazy. Nothing that like Halo 2 or Halo 3, these great boss battles, the prophets and all that. There's nothing like that in this game. It's all just smaller battles that are insignificant and don't really help the story along at all. It's pretty much the gist. It's just the story is very vague. Don't know what's going on. The world is very vacant. Not a whole lot going on. And, you know, with Ghost of Tsushima and a lot of the new games that come out, it's just, this game is obviously lacking a lot, and it's frustrating because I was so excited for the new Halo. I got an Xbox Series X pretty much so I can play the new Halo, and now this is what I got. So that's just a big bummer. I guess the best thing about Halo Infinite is that I have the new Xbox Series X and I can play other Xbox games. But man, this was a big bummer. I'm about to go into spoilers, so you know that's pretty much my review, spoiler free. So if you don't want to hear spoilers, you can cut out now. But here we go. So in the end, you end up finally fighting Escharum, and you fight the Harbinger. When you fight Escharum, you think this is going to be this very tough battle. You know, no way. Obviously, it's the last bad guy of the game, right? So it's just going to be super tough. No, you get locked in a random room after he captures Echo 216. And to get to that room was just ridiculous. You had to go through these like battle zones that are in the tower, which pretty much is just the same enemies you've been fighting all game. Just you're locked in a room with them, and you got to clear out each level. I thought it was a pretty bad way of the makers of Halo trying to extend the gameplay, just with these random level 1, 2, and 3 battles to get to the top of the tower where Escharum is. Wasn't a good look at all. It wasn't very fun. You fight him, you beat him, you kind of give him a warrior's death, and then you go on to fight the Harbinger. And the Harbinger is trying to bring back the ring, so you stop her. That battle's a little bit more tough, but nothing too crazy. And on the way to fight her, you get more segments from Cortana talking to you, like as if this is going to be her last little thing that she left for you to help out. And I guess she did. I guess she gave you an opportunity to fight before the Harbinger can bring back the ring. There was one cool segment at the end where after you defeat the Harbinger, Cortana comes out in a hologram and kind of talks to you after death, you know, saying that she had helped you and that she's glad she got to work with you all those years. So that was kind of special. She kind of mentions that this new one that you're with is her, and you kind of figure that the whole game anyway, but pretty much your new Cortana is Cortana, and it's just a new variant of that. So weird ending, weird game. I'm super disappointed. Oh, you know, after the fight with the Harbinger, you go back with Echo 216 and the new Cortana, and he finally tells you this name after you've been with him the entire game. He finally is like, oh, my name's Fernando, I think it was. And the new Cortana is like, I want to name myself. And it doesn't even really say what she's going to be. It just says, I think you know what I'm going to choose, I think is how she worded it. And it's like, I guess she chose to be named Cortana. So, yeah, that's that. Wow. I was waiting for this game to end. I'm going to play Skyward Sword. I know that's not known to be the best game, but it's got to be better than this, right? So, anyway, if you guys have any better thoughts of Halo Infinite, please let me know below. Subscribe, hit the bell. It really helps out a lot. Like this video, share it if you can. I really appreciate it, guys. So, anyway, see you next time.